Hey everyone, welcome to our channel, where untold stories and unsolved mysteries come to life. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated on all our fascinating cases. Today we're diving into a mysterious story about a man who disappeared in an inexplicable way. Stay tuned until the end to uncover the shocking details. The shadow in the forest. It was a late autumn evening, with the sky covered in thick clouds and a gentle breeze rustling the fallen leaves along the small, winding streets of the town. The town, small as it was, held a secret, one that not many spoke of, but everyone felt. The nearby forest, known as the Dark Woods, was a place locals avoided, and for a good reason. Strange things happened there, things that no one could explain. For years, whispers of mysterious disappearances, unexplained noises, and eerie shadows had filled the air, creating an atmosphere of fear that gripped the heart of anyone who dared to venture too close. Some said it was cursed, others swore it was haunted. But the one thing everyone agreed upon was that the forest was not a place you entered lightly. In the autumn of 2007, the legend of the Dark Woods was reignited. The town, still small, with only around 3,000 residents, had always known about the strange happenings. But this year, something was different. A group of curious young friends, Anna, Mihai, Radu, and Yulia, decided they would unravel the mystery themselves. They had heard the stories for years, and their desire for adventure outweighed the warnings of the town's elders. "It's just a forest," Mihai said one evening as they gathered in the local cafe. "We'll go in, explore a bit, and be back by midnight. What's the worst that could happen?" Anna hesitated. "I don't know, guys. Something about this place, it doesn't feel right." But the others were already excited, laughing and joking, brushing aside the unease in Anna's voice. And so they set out after dark, armed with flashlights, phones, and an unstoppable curiosity. They knew the stories, the missing hikers, the strange shadows that moved between the trees, and the eerie sounds that filled the air on quiet nights. But they didn't believe it, not yet. The deeper they went into the forest, the more oppressive the air became. It was as if the trees themselves were closing in on them. Despite the chill, the sound of leaves crunching underfoot, and the occasional hoot of an owl in the distance, there was an unsettling silence that filled the space between their steps. "This is it," Mihai said with a grin. "The perfect place for an adventure." But as they ventured further, things began to feel off. There was a strange wind swirling through the trees, a faint rustling in the air that didn't match the movement of the branches. The ground beneath their feet seemed to vibrate, subtly at first, then stronger as they continued walking. Anna's unease grew. "I think we should head back. This doesn't feel right." But the others were too caught up in the thrill of the moment to listen. They pressed on, their flashlights casting long shadows in the underbrush, their voices echoing in the eerie stillness. Then a crack, a loud snap, as if something large had broken a branch, followed by a low, drawn-out groan. The sound was unsettling, too real to be explained by the wind. "Did you hear that?" Yulia whispered, her voice trembling. But it wasn't just the sound, it was the feeling, a strange weight pressing down on them, making it hard to breathe. The air felt thick, as if something were watching them from the darkness. Suddenly there was movement, something large and dark slipping between the trees. It was fast, too fast to be any animal they knew. Radu squinted into the dark, his flashlight flickering. "I'm going to check it out," he said boldly, stepping forward. "Radu, don't!" Anna called out, panic rising in her chest. But it was too late. The moment Radu stepped forward, the air seemed to shift. A dark shadow lunged from the trees, slamming into him with incredible force. Radu was thrown to the ground, his scream cut short by an unnatural silence. "Radu!" the others shouted in horror, rushing to his side. But the forest seemed to come alive. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the trees swayed as though pushed by invisible hands. The flashlights flickered and died, leaving them in total darkness. In the blackness, they could hear breathing, slow, deliberate, and far too close. A cold, unnatural wind swept through the trees, and the low growl of something large echoed in the distance. "Run!" Anna screamed, her voice laced with terror. They didn't look back. They couldn't. As they sprinted through the forest, they felt an unseen presence closing in on them, like a shadow moving just out of reach. Every twisted tree, every broken branch seemed to whisper, urging them to go deeper into the woods. The ground beneath them seemed to shift, as if it were alive. They stumbled, falling over roots and rocks, their hearts pounding in their chests. It felt like the very forest was trying to swallow them whole. Finally, breathless and desperate, they burst out of the woods and into the clearing, where the moonlight bathed them in a cold, eerie glow. They stopped, gasping for air, looking back at the trees. The forest stood silent once more. Radu was gone. They searched the perimeter, but there was no sign of him, no trace. It was as if the woods had swallowed him whole. The next day, the town was abuzz with the news. Radu had disappeared without a trace. The police were called, but no one could find any clue as to what had happened. It was as if the woods had claimed him, and no one could explain why. The following nights were filled with strange occurrences. People heard footsteps in the dark, whispers that came from nowhere, and shadows that moved just outside their peripheral vision. But no one dared to return to the forest to search for the truth. The legend had taken another victim. Anna and Yulia tried to go back to the forest days later, hoping for some closure. But when they reached the clearing where they had escaped, they found something terrifying. Radu's flashlight, its beam still faintly flickering, lying on the ground with no sign of him. The forest remained silent, its secrets hidden within its ancient, twisted trees. But the legend of the dark woods had grown stronger, and the shadow, whatever it was, still haunted the edges of the town, waiting for the next soul to dare enter. I know you're probably wondering what happened in this mysterious story, but sadly, I don't have the answers for you either. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, leave a comment, and tell us what you think happened. Don't forget to subscribe because we've got plenty more strange tales and unexpected events coming your way. See you in the next one, where the mysteries never stop. Until then,